The science of color. And this, by the way, is the proper spelling. Color can convey a mood or a feeling. So, for example, the words frilly and freaky conjure different feelings and color palettes. Here in the examples, you can obviously see Frilly Lily and Sinister Visions have very different color schemes and feelings that are evoked with their color. Designers use color to emphasize an object or a message. They also use color to de-emphasize objects. Here are some very beautiful examples of color. Different cultures perceive the meaning of color differently. So right here on the top, we have a German website. It's very clean, and not saying all German websites are very clean and muted in color. There are obviously varying different degrees of color in any sort of website, but here are some great examples of a German website and a Japanese website, and you can see the styles are quite different. The color wheel. Sir Isaac Newton discovered that a prism separates light into a wide spectrum of colors. We can see on the color wheel which colors sit near each other, and this has allowed us to establish an official vocabulary for color schemes, such as analogous, which are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. Similar in temperature, they have minimal contrast and are dissonant. Complementary are opposites on the wheel. They have opposing temperatures and they create different mood than an analogous scheme. Now, it's not necessarily up and down. It could be left and right, diagonals. Anything that is directly opposite of the color on the color wheel is complementary. Primary colors are red, blue, and yellow, and they are pure unmixed colors. However, once you start shifting, we have secondary colors, which are orange, purple, and green, and are made of two primary colors mixed together. Then we have tertiary colors, which are red-orange, red-violet, blue-violet, blue-green, yellow-green, and yellow-orange, which are made of one primary and one secondary color mixed together. Monochromatic are varying shades and hues of a single color. Split complementary, instead of the opposite, it goes opposite and splits off. Double complementary are basically four colors together in opposites. So hopefully that makes sense there. Triadic, basically a triangle on the color wheel, which gives you a triadic color scheme. Hue are one of the main properties of color, where a color sits on the spectrum or the color wheel. So here we have a picture of my head, and I opened it up in Photoshop just to show you basic examples of how varying hue can change the color. So hue, I brought the hue down, and now I'm starting to look a little bit purple. I brought the hue up, and I'm looking a bit green. Saturation is how colorful a photo is or is not. So right here on the right, we have a picture of me with the saturation of the photo dragged straight up 100%. And at the bottom, we have a black and white photo where the saturation is completely removed from the photo. Brightness, also known as lightness within Photoshop. How much light is added to or removed from a photo. So you can see here, the top example, we have 50% less light, and at the bottom, 50% more light. Color models. We have for screen, we have RGB, which is red, green, and blue. We have hexadecimal, which is used in HTML. So for example, we have 1A, 1F, 2B, or you can have 00000, so on and so forth. If you've taken any of my coding courses, you will immediately recognize this. If not, that's okay. This will come up later in our HTML section. And HSB, which is hue, saturation, brightness, which we just saw. And for print, we have CMYK, which stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and key, or black. And these are the primary ink colors. And Pantone is a custom ink. Pantone ink is a leading authority on color. So the general guidelines for creating a color palette are as follows. Know the purpose and the message of your design or your website. Review the color basics that we just covered. Choose a dominant color, so decide if your website is blue or pink or so on and so forth. Choose an accent color, so play around with the schemes and see what accent color you would like to accentuate your primary color. Experiment with different shades and hues. Keep it simple, limit colors, don't go crazy, and record your color palette for reference, because if you're going to be using this in a design or logos, branding materials, print materials, web design, so on and so forth, you're going to need to have access to those exact colors. All right, awesome. We're going to move on into the next lecture. Great job.